I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace. And we're the Disruptors. You were kind of slow on that.
Well, no, I was thinking.
Oh, see?
Today's show, we're going to have Dr. Munson with us again. We're going to discuss
we love Dr. Munson.
Some neat stuff about dieting or nutrition, or which one are we working on? You forgot?
Health and exercise, Mr. Lee.
See, that was the problem. I wasn't paying attention.
No, because I think that you really need to make an appointment with him.
I think
should. It'll help your brain.
There might be a mental block to exercise in Bill's mind.
There might be.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're here today because that is it. I'm sure it is.
Yes.
As I'm throwing him out of the car sometimes, he just doesn't run like he used to.
I get it. You're walking the rest of the way home.
Yeah, well, that's it in a nutshell. And she drives off. She's just gone. That's it.
Well, what's really dangerous with Bill is that when I take him places, he will literally mouth, "She has kidnapped me."
Yes.
Or, "Please save me." And he'll even, I have to put the window locks. Because he's yelled at people before and said, "Please help me." Yes, it's very alarming when people are actually concerned that I have removed him from a home and I've captured him.
They're wondering about the abuse of the elderly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are.
That's probably a show. For
absolutely. Yeah, and
different show.
It's a different show.
Different show.
So we should go back and talk to Dr. Munson about the topic of the day, which is
the truth between exercise and health, knowing what is what.
So we were punning around a little bit, and we talked about New Year's resolutions. That we fill our mind with that we're going to do these things. And at this time of year, in the new year, everybody's like, "I want to get in shape," and they've actually put their mind on the summer, and they said, "What am I going to look like this summer?"
Absolutely.
So they're like, "I got to do something because I want to wear that bathing suit, or I want to take my shirt off."
Take notes.
I'm taking notes.
Bill, I bet you look good with your shirt off.
Well, it's really amazing because I can go down to the beach.
Except the neighbors keep dialing 911.
I can go down to the beach and they'll say, "What kind of bait did you use to haul that in with?" Yeah.
Oh, Phil.
So, it seems weird to me that people would think, "Hey, I want to get healthy, I want to do something," and they immediately think of working out. Mm-hmm. And if we think of what it takes to have a body change.
Can we stop you right there? I mean, isn't that really the societal norm? Whenever you say healthy, you don't see somebody, let's just say average in size, as a healthy model. You always see somebody that's, ribs are showing and pecs are glowing and, they look beautiful.
Yeah. And they happen to be 22.
They're 22, of course, in their prime.
Yes. And so their hormones got them quite far.
Yes.
And now they're like, nobody told them that, hey, for the rest of your life, if you don't take care of it, you're going downhill.
You bet.
And we talked about in prior shows that really once we hit 25, it's a plateau. It's not over the hill. It's a plateau. And that plateau should last 40 years.
Wow.
We literally should feel as good at 65 as we did at 25. And few people feel that way.
That's amazing.
It really is, because the human body's design is to last 150, 160, 170 years.
I didn't get my warranty papers in.
Indeed.
He just made different decisions.
True. And so our decisions are definitely, what make or break us. And so let's say if the average age is 70, and I've calculated this, I thought, well, one meal should, maybe decrease lifespan by a couple of hours. And I thought, if I eat McDonald's once or twice a week, I'm going to cut my lifespan down by 4 or 5 hours. But ultimately, if we eat 3 meals a day, that's actually 8 hours of existence that you're going to cut down. So let's say if I have a couple fast food meals each day, I'm actually taking my life down by more than half a day each day. So if I'm going to possibly live to 150, but only make it to 75 by the choices I make, then it should have done exactly that. It should be taking a day for day. So every time we don't eat well and don't put things in our body that's good and maybe mentally not doing well, we're actually cutting our health down by a single day every day.
Okay, Bill is now depressed.
It's an impressive thought.
Yeah,
I like the thought though behind it because garbage in, garbage out. I mean, so to speak.
And what's amazing is our body will still perform, and still make it to 75. That's a feat in of itself. That's a huge, kudos to the design of it. It really can take quite a bit of punishment. And given a little bit of effort, it actually performs really well too, which is, amazing because I get to see it every single day. And people are amazed. They're like, "I can't believe how well my body's performing." And we just did a couple of things. I said, isn't it nice to know that it's programmed for success? We don't have to force it to do anything. This is its design. It wants to be 100% for you. So if I start working out, but my diet isn't performing well, and I'm not doing what I should, it takes more nutrients to create muscle and sculpt than are probably available to the body itself. And so now if my diet doesn't eat, or at least eke up to that level of existence, I now cause myself problems. So as we sculpt the body and we get really fit, that isn't health. And so we can prove that by just saying, hey, let's go to all these triathletes and marathoners and ask, how are they doing? And some of them drop dead of a heart attack in the middle of a race. We could say, well, that was an unusual circumstance. But if we go in there and we see plaquing and we see all these things happening inside their blood vessels, we say, is that healthy?
No.
Did their exercise take care of all that?
No.
So we can look back and say 1940s, the average age of a GI was like 25, 28, and they would do studies on all the GIs, and about, I think it was like somewhere over 50% had plaquing.
Wow, 50%.
And then in Vietnam, the average age was 19, but 95% of them had plaquing in their arteries at 19 years of age.
At 19 years of age.
Wow.
And so what's happened? Weren't those 19-year-olds fit?
I would.
Well,
yes.
going through the military,
I think,
should have been.
yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And so here they were showing signs of heart disease. Well, why? Well, because fitness doesn't mean health. They're not synonymous at all. And yet we believe that they are. And so, well, no, it's no wonder that we see triathletes and marathoners dying of heart attacks. So when I have a client in and they say, I really need to get in shape, and I said, I appreciate that you want to. But right now, do you have the energy to? And most of the time they say, no, I don't. I said, then I don't want you exercising until you have an abundance of energy and you feel like doing that. Becoming fit is a byproduct of good health. It doesn't mean good health. You can't go the reverse direction. And so as I rebuild an individual neurologically, nutritionally, I now have a system that starts to have an overabundance of energy and they feel like doing things. Hey, I want to go for a walk. I want to go for a hike. I want to spend time playing sports or whatever it is. And now we have a system that is safely able to regain fitness, if you will.
Wow. In your case, Candace,
You better watch it.
Fitness.
You better watch it. Remember, I used to do kickboxing.
That's true.
My elbow is pretty brittle.
Is it?
And you're pretty close.
And I am very close. That's it.
Yes.
Within arm distance.
Yeah, that's not good. You're right. I withdraw my statement. Yes.
Well, I think it's interesting. Every time you're on the show, you always bust a myth.
Yeah.
And I don't know really. Either it's a health myth or it's a perception or whatever. Every time we sit down, you're very consistent with punching a hole in that glass ceiling and bringing in the truth. And I often wonder, oh my gosh, will you ever come to the end of the myths that we've been sold?
Sure.
And I'm not sure I'm not sure that you will, because there's so many.
There's a lot out there.
And they're inventing new ones every day.
Yes, they are.
So what can someone do? So tell us, what is the difference then? I mean, other than the body, what's the difference? You can be athletic, not healthy. You can be healthy and obviously not athletic.
Sure.
So where is the balance?
Nat, I think that's the word of the day is balance, that all of us are trying to achieve. If I had to say a balance, most folks, I tell them, if you enjoy doing some sport, like you're not going to catch me walking. I despise it. I've played soccer, I've played volleyball, I boxed in college, I've wakeboarded, snowboarded, I've done all these athletics, and I enjoy them. But I realize as I approach 50 that, those things aren't really necessarily very interesting to me anymore. So for me, I've dialed it down to a bare minimum for myself. And that doesn't work for everybody, but
Sure.
It's where I'll begin with a lot of people. I said, you know what? I think you are able to right now do 1 push-up, 1 sit-up, and 1 squat today.
Mm-hmm.
But Doc, I need to do way more than that. Well, I realize that you feel like the need is there, but the ability is lacking right now. And so I want you to start with something very small, something simple, and something consistent that you will do every day that takes less than a minute. And especially those that are wanting to join a gym. I said, have you joined a gym before? Well, yes, I have. I said, how long did you go? Well, that's not a good story. Let's not talk about that.
We weren't there too long.
That was Bill's story.
Oh, no, I actually went to the grand opening.
Excellent.
In the front door and then out the side door.
Okay, so he was there 20.
He was there.
He was eating
right.
there all of their hors d'oeuvres along the way.
Well, they did have some nice cheese rolls and stuff, yes.
That's awesome. And so if you've joined a gym before and it didn't work out real well, then there's no reason to do it again yet. You know, I want consistency in there, something that rain or shine, no matter how you feel, you cannot argue with yourself to do 1 sit-up, 1 push-up, and 1 squat. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so I've done this with myself. I've gotten into bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done my 1 sit-up, or 1 squat, and 1 push-up. And I laid there for like 5 more seconds. I'm like, are you really telling me you can't get up right now and do 30 seconds and go back to sleep? It's going to kill you to do that. You're going to lose something. I'm like, yeah, I'm not at all. So I get up out of bed and I do my push-up, my sit-up, and my squat and go back to sleep. And as I got very consistent with that, I noticed that after about 3 or 4 or 5 months, the thought came into my head, I bet I could do 2. And so I did 2. And then after a while longer, it's like, you know what, I bet I could do 3. And so I did 3. And to look at me and say, well, I know you don't have any problems doing push-ups or sit-ups or squats. And that's true, but I wasn't really willing to do any more than that 1 for a while. I wanted to let it grow naturally and become a part of me. So I encouraged my clients, I said, I want something to become part of you, not a forced thing. Not something that you dread doing, but something that literally becomes a part of you. Why did Jack LaLanne do, what is it, like 20, 30, 40, 50 push-ups every day?
Something like that, yes, every morning.
Every day.
Actually, I loved him. He was awesome.
I thought so too.
Yeah, and so, you know, did he live to be ripe old age?
Yes.
He did, but he also had a wonderful diet,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And he talked about it all the time.
He did. We won't talk about his extracurricular activities that he likes to do, too. I thought those were kind of funny, but, you know, he still lived to be almost 100.
Very close to it, yes.
You know? And so, those of you that know his personal story, those that are out there, but as we look at him, we say, okay, well, if I take care of my diet and I do some regular easy exercises and just stay in shape, not go downhill, but just do enough to stay fit, man, that's all we really need. We don't really necessarily need to go and say, hey, I am going to work out for an hour a day every day. And that's too much for most people. But if we let it gradually increase and become what it should be, we're going to see a
gradual change.
Yeah, we're going to see a person develop what's their style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and anytime we're comparing to other people, we're going to get into trouble. And so
that's true. That's
I want to
very
encourage
true.
people to not do that. Well, I do 50 push-ups a day. Well, I only do 1. Oh, well, you're nothing. You know, I mean, that's silly. And so,
well, it really is when you stop thinking about it.
It really is. And so as we develop our own program that works for us, we now don't overtax the system. Our body begins to change naturally and effortlessly like we want it to.
And which really overall makes a big change because we're not stressing ourselves out. We're not putting ourselves right on the edge of catastrophe as far as I can see.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those out there that are working out more than 25 minutes of strenuous physical activity, if you haven't heard our prior podcasts on this, at 25 minutes you've depleted all the natural vitamin C and vitamin E in the body.
Wow.
And so now we're starting to do damage. So we understand these 2-hour, 3-hour marathons that these runners are running, they're demanding an incredible amount of performance that requires an amazing amount of high-octane fuel to sustain this without doing tremendous damage to the body.
And it's amazing, if you stop and analyze it, it takes years actually to build the body up to do something like these athletes that are going to the Olympics.
Yep.
Years of diet control, exercise,
absolutely,
lifestyle change.
Very specific diet restrictions and things that they will do, and they know. And anybody who's a trainer had better have studied that stuff to understand it too, because they're playing with fire when they're working with a high-performance Formula One athlete, so to speak.
Which most of them are. Incredible endurance.
Yep.
I get a big kick out of it because I know my endurance is making sure that the chair is right, in the level with the television so I can watch the Olympics. Because, you don't want to strain your neck having to look up or something.
That's right.
So, and I find that, our producer has entered the room too. This is great. Pat, our producer. I think it's really interesting that people really, when they watch the Olympics, they admire these people. They can't understand how can they stay so slim and they're out there flexing their body and their endurance is so fantastic.
Yeah.
And they look like the epitome of health.
Well, they do. They really do.
And what's fascinating, I don't know if you ever have read research, but Olympic athletes are very